Good morning. We're going to be talking with Tim Sherman and Shirley Wesselhoeft. There's an event coming up at Claiborne Parish Library. That's Mr. John Fogerty here on the new Rue 102. What a great song. That is from 2017 called Sugar, Sugar. I am Rick Godley, and we are the new Rue 102. We're up online at kwxmfm.com. In the studio, and for those watching live and or watching it a little bit later on, Tim Sherman is here, and Tim is with, is it Victory Art there, Tim?
Yeah, that's correct. Victory Military Surplus.
Victory Military Surplus, as well as Shirley Wesselhoeft. And you got an event coming up. It's going to be at Claiborne Parish Library. It's going to be this coming Monday. For those, that's going to be June 10th, 6 p.m. And well, let's hit that. And well, good morning, Tim. How are you?
I'm great.
How about you, Shirley? How you doing?
I'm just fine. Thank you, Rick.
Doing good, good, good. All right, so give us the highlights, and then we're going to hit and look at the lights themselves as far as the military art that you have.
Yes. Like you mentioned, at Claiborne Parish Library at 6 p.m. on Monday, we're going to have an art display of military art, primarily World War II aviation art, and Miss Shirley Wesselhoeft and Janice Hill and another gentleman will be there signing books as well.
All right, that other gentleman is Wesley Harris, and tell us first now, and Shirley will be there with the Traded to the Enemy, the story of her late husband, Colonel Wes Wesselhoeft, which is an amazing story unto itself, and we'll get back to that in a second. But Tim, tell us first of all, how did you get involved in this, quote, military arts?
I started years ago. My dad worked on aircraft in World War II, and I wanted to do something for him. And I just picked up a pen one day and started drawing. I've always drawn whatever interested me at the time, if it was fish, hunting, whatever. And aviation was always just a passion of mine. So I wanted to do something for him, and it probably started back in like 92, 93. And did some prints for him. And then later on, as I went from occupation to occupation, people wanted more, wanted me to do things of theirs. So I drew airplanes of that other people owned and things like that, and just continued doing it.
Now you say you drew airplanes. I've just learned a new word today, and I love finding out new words. I never heard of the word stipple before. Stipple. Explain what stipple is. I think I used to get in trouble in grammar school for stippling.
I did that down the hall one day.
You're making a profession out of this, and you're making art out of it. What is stipple?
Stipple, artists call it pointillism.
Wait, another new word? What did you just say?
Another pointillism. Which is another word.
Pointillism, okay.
And what it is using a specific pen that will almost give you a perfect dot in black ink, and you just do one dot at a time. And
so we're looking at, what is this, a B-17, did you tell me?
Correct, that's a B-17 flying.
So how many one dot point of a pen is on this print that we're looking at?
If I did it by maybe computer, I would know that, but I have no idea. And you could probably see, or I can tell, I can look at it and go, man, I could have put another 1,000 dots on there. It's never ending.
Artists are always the most critical of themselves, aren't they? Huh?
Yeah, but I look at other prints that I did, and I go, I could have put another 2,000 dots on here just to finish it up. But after a while, you just get tired.
Well, no, it is finished, is what you say. But all right, so how long did this one take? How long?
I'm going to guess maybe 80 hours.
80 hours.
Yeah.
So do you stipple by yourself? Do you stipple in public? And is it legal to stipple?
Oh, I think it's legal.
I know it is.
And I do it by myself. I don't do it in a closet, but I do it by myself.
I got it. Okay, so here's another stipple print from Tim Sherman, which, by the way, these are prints. And I don't mean the Purple Rain kind of print. These are prints, and they are available for purchase at your store, Victory Military Surplus. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, so are you going to have any available come Monday night?
I will have some of these available. Yes, the other artwork that I have is from other famous artists. those will just be on display.
Display. So I'm looking at, did you say the Lexington is this one?
That's correct.
And so this was not done by you, but it was done by another artist.
Right.
And do you have the original at your store, and then you created prints off it?
No, I don't have the original. The original will be thousands and thousands of dollars.
Wow.
So what these prints are copies of the original that the artist put out, and they're called a limited numbered print.
Gotcha.
That means if he made 2,000 of them, I have one of those 2,000s. And the neat thing is they're signed by the artist.
Okay. So, all right, so help me understand. Now, if you only have one of these, are these for sale in the store, or is this just your collection that you're going to bring and show around?
I'm going to bring that collection.
I got you.
All these prints I'm going to bring to the library at Claiborne Parish, and I will have them for sale at my shop in Monroe.
Okay.
And,
now, again, I'm just asking for my clarification.
Right.
The original you do not have, let's say, of this one, but you have
Correct.
a print, or do you have multiple
I've got
prints?
2 prints of that one, and
I
most
got you.
others I just have one.
And okay, so you're an art collector and an art is a proper word, dealer?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But you have multiple prints of your work.
Correct. That's right.
I got you. How many do you have? Like for example, what are we looking at here? Is this a P something F-13? What do I?
It's an F4F Wildcat, and if you look,
Shirley knew what that was. I didn't know.
yeah, it's a World War II Navy fighter. My dad worked on those along with other planes, and if you look on the print on the left side, it'll be the number of
I got you.
prints that I have, which is say 100, and then that is a whatever number that is of that print, and then to the right, extreme right, is a signature and a date.
Which is your signature.
Correct.
And the date. I got you. I got you. How many prints or stipples have you done? And then are you still stippling?
I still do it,
Right.
but I've working on one for a friend, and I've been working on it for quite a long time. I'm almost embarrassed to say how long, so I'm not going to do that.
What was grammar school like for you? Were you ever, racked on the knuckles by the teacher for not paying attention in class?
I didn't even know I was in class. I was looking out the window, looking at airplanes.
Where are you from? Are you from Monroe? I mean,
I am.
You grew up right around, the Air Force and Selman Field, and I know we talked about Chenault Aviation Military
Right.
Museum. They just had the air show there. You're on the board of that as
That's
well. So, man, you were born for this, weren't you?
I love it. I do. I love it.
Where is the store?
It's 7913 Desird Street, not too far from the airport.
Okay.
Eastbound on 80 out of Monroe.
How did you cross paths with the woman to your right, Miss Shirley Wesselhoeft?
Shirley Wesselhoeft, and I met at the Chenault Museum with her husband, Wes Wesselhoeft, and every time I went to the museum and they were there, I always had to talk to them both,
Right.
and got a book, and Colonel Wesselhoeft would sign a Bible for me, say, and what a great man.
Well,
What a
pass
great
the
man.
mic over to Shirley in case, because I know what the book's about. To me, it still blows my mind. But Shirley, good morning. Tell us about this book, and then tip your hand to what you're working on next. Tell us about this one.
Good morning, Rick. The book is about my husband's life, not so much his service, not so much his military service, but his life, including that. He was born in Chicago to German immigrant parents, and they were taken and put in an internment camp during World War II. And from there, they were actually traded with the Nazis into the war zone. So he was a 7-year-old American citizen. He was born here, living in Hamburg and being bombed in the daytime by us and by the Brits at night. They survived the war, and in 1958 he was told by the consulate that he could come back to America. So he did. He came into the New York City area and went directly to the recruiting office at Times Square and joined the Air Force.
So, Colonel Wes Wesselhoeft. And so what year was he traded? Was it 43?
It was 44.
In 1944.
February 44.
So here he is, an 8-year-old boy, probably just doing 8-year-old boy things in Chicago. And next thing you know, 1958, so that would be 14 years later. He
that's
gets to
correct.
come back and he joins up in the Air Force.
Yes, Rick, he spent 22 years in the Air Force. He was a Vietnam veteran, and he passed away a year ago in February from the effects of Agent Orange.
Right.
And he will be honored in Washington along with 600 something other veterans that died from the effects of Agent Orange and PTSD.
All right. Well, this book will be available for sale as well come Monday night, as it's going to be at Claiborne Parish Library to be at 6 p.m. And not only this book, but also, Shirley, you seem to know the most about telling his story, POW number 1000. Here's a copy of the book. What do you know about this?
Well, I know that this was written by Janice Hill, and it's written about her father, who was a POW. He was actually in the Bataan Death March and survived it, and he had this material available, and she published it in a book. I believe that's correct, isn't it, Tim?
That's correct.
Tim, did you read this?
I did.
All right, so
Great book.
give us your takeaway on this book here, because, and when did he write it? Because obviously he didn't write it while he was on the Death March.
No, I'm not exactly sure when he wrote it, what years, but I think it was a compilation of memoirs over a period of time. And Janice told him before he passed away at a ripe old age that she would publish it for him. She wrote the first chapter, and she took all of his memoirs and did all the research and everything, and being the English teacher that she is, she wrote the book and published it. It's a fantastic book, and the similarities between the two books are the faith of the subjects. They were both they both had strong faith in God, in Christ, and that's what got them through their situations.
Well, yeah, obviously their faith in reality was based on something other than this world, because these are two otherworldly stories that are just mind-boggling. For those that don't know, the Death March, or Bataan Death March, roughly, Tim, do you know how many started out and how many ended up, and then the average weight of the individuals on the end of that Death March?
I don't remember.
Okay. Shirley, do you have a clue? Because, I mean, they were emaciated.
I don't know the number, Rick, but I do know many dropped dead right there on the march.
Right.
And they were very thin, underfed, way
So
underfed.
this is Janice Pardue Hill's book. She'll be there, and so Tim's artwork will be there. Shirley's or Wes's book will be there, and also from the not so coincidental department, we have another Wesley Harris. And we are thinking this is the book he's going to have, right? Wild Boys, or did you say that it was a World War II book? Because he wrote a book about the POW camp in Ruston.
Correct. And
so we don't know. Will that be?
It'll be available, I'm sure. But I was there and met with him yesterday.
Okay.
He didn't have many of the prints left of the Ruston camp, but he's
really?
got plenty of the newer book.
Okay, which is this one, The Wild Boys.
Correct.
Sounds like a punk rock movement out of New York City, but it was not. Matter of fact, this is like the outlaws of the 1890s in Louisiana. All right, so it's admission free. It'll be 6 p.m., Claiborne Parish Library, this coming Monday. And I know we're up on Facebook Live, and this will become archived, so it's going to be June 10th, and the year will be 2024. What else could we possibly say to make this a well-attended event? Then also to create more awareness for these books and other things in the future on the horizon for the both of you. Do you know?
Well, it's a great venue. I mean, I was amazed to see the library. I don't know what kind of refreshments they're going to have, but I'm sure they will.
Right.
So please come and join us. We got plenty of room, nice and comfortable, great scenery, looking out the library, and get acquainted with the library.
And Tim's store, you can stop by, hours of operation, 6 days a week, I'm guessing. Tell me more.
I am at 7913 Desert Street, Monroe, right across the street from Brookshire's on 80 in Lakeshore.
Right.
And I'm normally open Wednesday through Friday.
When are you abnormally open? That's what I want.
Yeah, but that's going to have to change. And
Right.
The number you can call is 318-307-2694. Get me anytime, and I can be there anytime.
So and more than just selling goes on in the store. Correct me if I'm wrong, but a little bit of ministering and
That is correct.
camaraderie. Is that correct?
That's correct. We're wanting veterans to come in and get comfortable with telling their stories with other veterans.
I know, well, it's hard from what I understand.
It
I'm
is
not a
very
veteran, I'm not a
difficult.
combat veteran, so the worst thing I could possibly say is, well, I understand how you feel, because I don't understand how you feel. But buddies understand buddies and how they feel, and so you're welcome
Exactly.
there at the store. And in case anybody wants to check out some stipple art here, I love it, man. Well,
Yeah,
thank you
great.
all. Thank you so much for coming in this morning. And folks, you know what you need to do to help us to help more. Help push the message far and wide and make it happen for them. So, any closing words? Are we good?
Rick, I just want to mention the museum, the Chenault Aviation and Military Museum. Tim is on the board of it, and I volunteer there. It's a great museum, and it's not very far from Tim's shop, so you can do both of them at once. The museum is admission free, and we're real friendly people over there. So.
I know that. And now, well, first of all, tell me, how did the air show go?
The air show went wonderful.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And then tell me, how did the run for the red, white, and blue go?
It was great. Also, we had many, it wasn't quite as large as last year, but there were other commitments by teams that
Right.
weren't able to make it this
Right.
year.
And then to tell me how Nell is doing.
She's doing better. They say what I understand.
What do you
the
mean by
doctors-
better? I didn't know what was...
She had broken her arm actually.
Oh, I
The
didn't know
day
that.
the day of I think the first day of the air show, that day she broke her arm. She is now going through therapy, and what I understand, the doctors say that she's doing great.
Awesome.
So that's great.
All right, you two. Well, thank you so much for thinking of me. Thank you for coming on.
you, Rick.
And you're most welcome as we get back to the music here on the New Rue. And this is R.B. Greaves with Take a Letter, Maria, on the New Rue 102. It is 8:57. Good morning. All right,
Great
so there you
job.
have it. We
My
are
favorite
not
songs.
dead
That was
yet, so we're
awesome.
still
Awesome,
streaming
Rick.
live. Thank you, thank you. Let's kill
You
that.
are awesome.
I am awesome. You
I
heard
know,
that.
but
I
you
didn't-
know,
Awesome.
I didn't have time to tell everybody that.
Well, you're still telling them.
Oh,
You
okay.
realize
Well, we
that.
think
They don't.